What have you done?
I don't remember why. I decided to make 2 character designs based on dopamine and serotonin. And I started with dopamine, so this is dopamine.
Dope.
Yeah.
I
I very quickly decided that I didn't want her to be that sporty. My logic for sporty was because dopamine is like your motivation.
Okay.
So I wanted her to look motivated. And realized that this is a pose and an outfit that I do all of the time. So started to work with that a little bit later. But keep that in mind that I know that the shoes are rounded, wide, chunky things, and that's what I always draw, and the jacket is what I always draw. And you pointed out that I was doing it again after complaining about the fact that I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. You were still not happy that I pointed it out.
No, because I thought I had changed things. But then I did it again anyway, later. So, realizing that, no, seriously, I was doing it, including with the leg up, that position. I changed her position, I changed her outfit, I changed her shoes.
Yeah.
To be pointy. But the point is that the dopamine is supposed to be motivation. She also deals with, like, if you have low dopamine, you have low electrolytes, usually, like, your electrolyte imbalance happens. I wound up making her look like Biker Barb, I realize, with the tongue sticking out in this position. But it's fine. It's fine. It's still slightly different. In any case, dopamine does a lot of things. Helps regulate emotions, so you don't wind up in depression. Serotonin does that too. Serotonin's more about, like, digestion, though. Like, if you have low serotonin, you could be constipated.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know serotonin was so tied to digestion.
Yeah. And then dopamine, again, electrolytes and things like that.
So when I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, nah. That's dopamine?
A lack of motivation?
Yeah.
Well, you also have ADHD.
That is true.
Which means, yes, you lack dopamine.
Yeah, I'm a dopamine chaser.
Yeah.
I need new experiences to feel things.
Yeah, and the thing about the happiness the dopamine gives you, it's short term, but it's usually more like exciting. It's very happy right now, and then it's kind of gone.
Learning a thing, doing a thing, mastered it, done.
Right.
Never touching it again.
Right. Whereas serotonin, it's like a little more chill. It's longer lasting happiness, but it's not as exciting. That's why you kind of need both. That's why you do need both.
You're my both.
I appreciate that. So you need both mentally, and you also need both physically for a lot of different reasons. And I tried to somehow channel dopamine, which I've explained poorly just now. Look it up for better explanation into this character design. And she's got her little sweater or something tied around her waist.
Yeah.
Which, how would you even wear that with the shirt I gave her?
Sometimes you wear a waist sweater.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 90s. Sometimes you had a jacket on and a waist sweater.
I did get rid of it, I think, later. But I had to design this shirt, because again, I didn't want to give her the same outfit that I always give everyone forever.
When you showed me the redesign, I was just like, that's very fashion designer. It was very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a lot of fun coloring it.
Yeah.
Using oranges instead of, like, a pink.
Yeah.
And, shading was fun for this one.
Yeah.
And you'll see serotonin in a moment. You might be wondering where serotonin will be. There will be room later.
Serotonin just kind of makes room.
Well, I decided to make them separately, so they could, like, be their own things, and then put them together into one item, one piece.
Right, design, and then you can figure out the composition of the whole thing later.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. I gotcha.
And, yeah. Dopamine also helps with bodily movement, like actual physical movement and coordination.
Oh, okay.
Just for the record. So I wanted her to look active, but I didn't want her to look sporty. And I gave her a paintbrush.
Does too much of one inhibit the other?
Not necessarily. It just causes problems.
Okay.
It's just, you just don't want too much or too little.
My hand-eye coordination was real easy back before I was on my brain meds.
Yeah, and then you got brain meds.
Yeah.
And then you figured it out.
That's one of the weird things about brain meds is that, like, my hands are just less twitchy, so, like...
Right.
Those ninja moments I have more of, where you just catch a thing.
Yeah.
Or even better, don't bump it.
So serotonin, I had him initially looking away from us, and then I decided that he should also be looking at the camera, like at the audience the way she is. Because I was going to have him, like, looking at her, and I don't want him to look like her boyfriend who's simping. Like, I wanted them to be a little bit more on equal ground, more like friends.
Yeah.
So I turned his head, and somewhere along the line he became the guy from Mama Actually.
Trap.
Yeah, Mike Trap. And I used your hands is referenced, because I could not for the life of me figure out how to draw his hands. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Her hands were based on my hands, but I didn't want his hands to be based on my hands. Little spider fingers.
As you were showing me them both, I'm just like, so putting them together is just going to be like backstage at like a drama production.
Right. And that's exactly what I wanted doing. But since she's purple and red, I made him purple and blue. And yeah, he has exactly the mug I had you take a picture with and your little book.
You gotta have a little book.
Yeah. Figure he's got notes about whatever play they're gonna do.
Just slowly developing his notes.
Yeah.
Just digesting.
And digesting. And I think that he had to be my trap very loosely, just because I was trying to think of like somebody who comes across as very chill but funny.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of happiness that serotonin does for you. Is more like...
Comes across very happy and supportive, but not in a manic way.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas dopamine is going to be more energized. She's all about doing things and getting things done, and he's more about like, we could take a break though. We could take a breath here and just relax and still get it done.
Planning is also fun.
Yeah. And you really do need both, so you don't just burn out and or do nothing.
I mean, what if you just swap real hard between burning out and doing nothing?
Then you should see your doctor about possibly being prescribed for something for your ADHD.
Oh no.
Worked for you.
The bad news. I still fluctuate wildly between burnout and doing too much.
Yeah. Old habits die hard.
Yeah.
And no amount of medication is going to, like, cure you. You are who you are.
I'd love to have, like, how many decades of self-developed coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And, like, not habits, but, like, reactions.
Yeah. And I think that's the case for anyone on any kind of medication. Is a lot of people worry that it's going to change their personality, and the answer is no. No, if it does that, you're on the wrong medication, and something is terribly wrong.
I was very worried that brain meds would do something unintended, so I kept a mood log for like months afterwards.
Yeah. But it all worked out.
Yeah. Until I noticed that like my mood was actually improving, so I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know why I gave him the ankle tattoo of a happy face daisy, but that's what he's got. He seems like the kind of person who's like, well, I want a tattoo because they're cool, but I don't want, like, a lot of tattoos or a big tattoo. I know, I'll just get something small out of the book. And that's why he wound up with that. That's my headcanon. So here's me putting them together.
Just walked in onto the boardwalk and said, tattoos are neat. I'll get a small one.
Yeah. So he's got a small one. So this is serotonin and dopamine.
Lovely.
And they're backstage from something that they're working on.
Yeah. Everyone stay happy, get your serotonin and dopamine.
And if you can't, see a doctor.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Rock on.